Let's bring in the South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson for more on this, because, Alan, your name figured prominently in this news conference, including when Dick Harpootlian said this.
Here's the question. What does he know today he didn't know 5 years ago? Why is he saying he's going to seek the death penalty? Is there some new piece of evidence? So we're a little sick and tired, and we've seen this process since the beginning of this case, where Alan Wilson plays politics as opposed to playing prosecutor.
All right, Mr. Attorney General, the floor is yours. Would you care to respond?
Well, first, let me say this. Dick Harpootlian has been a hardcore Democratic leader in South Carolina politics for the better part of half of a century. He's a former Democratic Party chairman, so he's never going to miss an opportunity to insert politics into something as serious as this. So there were a number of things that he said that I completely disagree with, and actually he was factually wrong, which is not new for him to speak without actually having all the facts. First off, the thing I do agree with him about is every defendant under our criminal justice system, including Alex Murdaugh, deserves the right to a fair and impartial trial. While we're disappointed in the Supreme Court's obviously reversal, we respect it, and we're going to adhere to it and comply with it, and we're going to live up to it. This is not our fault. It was the fault of one person and one person alone. We also agree, or I also agree, that his complimenting the members of my staff, the members of our prosecution team, these are incredible men and women who I couldn't have more respect for. Now, the things I disagree with, obviously, he made just bald-faced allegations of politics, which is an actual political act he's engaging in. Our reconsideration of the death penalty was made in consultation with our legal team. I haven't talked to anyone with my campaign team about this. This is all done within the office. In 2022, when we were first faced with these decisions, the death penalty was not a practical consideration for us because there hadn't been a death penalty execution in 13 years. We didn't have the ability to carry it out. That has changed since then. That is one factor. There are a number of other factors we are evaluating, but right now this is all very fresh and very new, and so we have to evaluate everything. And in response to a question from a reporter last Friday, we were asked about would we consider the death penalty, and the answer is yes, we're considering everything. So that is not a political consideration.
Alan, just want to circle back. You said there was a lot you disagreed with, but you said there was a lot what he said was factually wrong. Where were those points?
Well, I mean, first off, he said that I did this in consultation with my political team. It was actually, this is completely out of the official office. We actually discussed this with the head of our legal section. We actually talked about it, and it is something that is on the table. We have to consider everything because it's like this trial never happened. This is a brand new trial. We're considering everything. There were things I didn't have available to me in 2022 that we have to consider. We're going to have that conversation. So that was one of the things I disagree with. He also admitted the fact that 2 years ago, I sent the entire Becky Hill case to another solicitor. You would call him a district attorney, and that was independently evaluated. I had no role in that, and all of her conduct was evaluated. And again, Mr. Harpootlian has a vested interest in the governor's race as well as the attorney general races and other races in South Carolina, so he's trying to inject politics into that. But Ms. Hill was actually investigated already by an impartial, detached prosecutor, and those decisions were already evaluated. Right.
But the Supreme Court did see it differently, though, than that investigation did. So the trial...
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. The Supreme Court did not adjudicate or talk about whether or not Alex Murdaugh engaged in jury tampering. They basically were determining whether or not. Well, you're correct. Thank you for correcting me. They were determining whether or not Becky Hill, someone can make comments to a juror that could impede their right to a fair, impede Mr. Murdaugh's ability to have a fair and impartial jury and it not be jury tampering. It's a very different legal standard. You have to get beyond a reasonable doubt on a criminal charge as opposed to the judge saying you shouldn't have said these comments. So it's two different standards. I didn't make that call. Another prosecutor did.
Yeah, okay, but the Supreme Court did say their efforts, and this was the prosecution's efforts, were in vain because Colleton County Clerk of Court Rebecca Hill placed her fingers on the scales of justice, thereby denying Murdaugh his right to a fair trial by an impartial jury. They called her antics breathtaking and disgraceful. I mean, I just assumed that they were saying that she did what she did. I do want to ask you this question, though, if I could, as to whether or not you can find a fair and impartial jury in Colleton County for a retrial. That question came up. Dick Harpootlian reflected back on his very first prosecution, or defense at least, which was Pee Wee Gaskins, 1976, notorious serial murderer in South Carolina. He said that they went through a pool of 400 potential jurors to find 14. And even after they found the 12 jurors and the 2 alternates, it still only took them 47 minutes to convict Gaskins. So I don't know if his record's going to be any better this time around or not.
Well, look, right now we are evaluating every decision, pretrial decision that has to be made. We're back to ground zero. Everyone was talking about the death penalty on the table. Doesn't mean we're going to do it. Just means we're evaluating it. We're looking at the venue. I mean, obviously, we have the current intention of trying to go back to the same venue, but we're going to evaluate all of our options and consider every decision. We may change our minds. We may go the direction we've already decided to go. We may change them. Who knows? This thing is very fresh and very raw, and we want to get it right. And again, at the end of the day, Mr. Murdaugh has the presumption of innocence again on these 2 charges. He's not going anywhere for many decades. But for right now, we want to treat this as if this trial has not occurred. And so he has that presumption. He has a right to a fair and impartial trial. And we're going to operate under that mandate from the Supreme Court.
Bottom line, after everything you just said about the defense and what we heard there, do you believe Alex Murdaugh will get a fair and impartial trial?
Absolutely. I mean, I believe he certainly can receive an impartial trial. I mean, yes, this case has garnered a lot of national attention, a lot of notoriety around it. But look, we have a system in place where the prosecution and the defense get to go through a jury selection process. We get to get into a granular molecular level. We get to evaluate a large pool of potential jurors, and everyone gets to have a say as to who is seated in the jury box. I do believe it is possible.
Okay. Alan, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Attorney General. Good to catch up with you. We'll be talking, I assume, a lot more in the months ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.